so you kind of invented it, you kind of made it
Right,
up?
because
So
my interest
Yep,
correlates by psychology, pediatric, medical research, a baker, restaurant owner, physician assistant, actress, public advocate.
okay,
So the only ones that actually interject
yep,
are psychology, pediatric, medical research, and physician assistant.
got it. So I think that in your case, like when you go home tonight or next weekend or whatever, this weekend or whatever, I think that what I'm hoping for, and it's fine you do that, and that's, it probably stretched your brain a bit, but the reason that was challenging for you was because it wasn't actually your truth, or it wasn't actually what's happening for you. Like, you didn't feel like you could actually talk about that
Right.
right?
But yet that's my interest.
I get that, but what I'm saying is, if that's your interest, right, then maybe maybe then this weekend, you go home and you think about the three different topics that you want, three different paragraphs that you want to write for that topic, and then you research them, and you write a paper, or you write an article, or do a video based on the fact that this is what I learned this weekend about this topic, and I'm going to continue to share more in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't want you to make things up that you don't know just because it's your interest. So tell me your name again.
Me?
Yeah.
Naomi?
Naomi. So Naomi had a really interesting topic. You want to share with the group? I think there's a couple things I want to share with you guys about this kind of topic. And it's probably applicable to what you're saying as well a little bit.
So my topic is how I walk in the park for my fight against industrial contamination.
So tell us what's happening. Like, you took a walk through the park one day.
Yes.
So this for me is a perfect example of what I think would be a very powerful story. So Naomi's walking through the park one day here in the South Bronx, right?
Yes.
And what do you see?
Well, I was trying to clear my mind and see what I can do as a career. Because I had tried before, I had gone to college, studied college before, and started trying to do a lot of stuff, and all of them have failed. And I was trying to just clear my mind and just start thinking new things. And then I walked to the park, in the south of this Soundview Park, that just goes around the end of the park.
Yep.
And if you go more up, you can see there's big tubes that coming from the industrial side in the South Bronx that all the way go to the water. Now, I go walking more and I see families bathing in that water and people fishing. So that's what I started. What's this happening? And then I started researching more.
And what did you find out? That's the same water that is the drinking water, right?
Yes.
You said?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a really interesting story. That's a really interesting story. So, and what is it called? Like a waste? Like a industrial waste?
Yeah.
Yeah, an industrial waste space. So, here's what I think of, right? What is your dream job?
Environmentalist.
Great, so that's super connected, right? So there's a couple things that you can do now. And this is where I think that you all need to start thinking about things in kind of a more comprehensive way. That article is really interesting to write, and your title was really good, like how a walk through the park led me to, what was it?
Fight against industrial contamination.
Yeah, like how a walk through the park led me to like find out about industrial contamination. Cool. So what I would do then is, since we're trying to build your brand, right? Since you could write that article and put it up on LinkedIn, but what I would do is, if I'm Naomi, I'm thinking now about, and we're going to talk more about this next week actually, the networking part of the brand, which I think is equally as important as building the brand. Most people can build a brand and then they don't know what to do with it once they build it to network. I'm thinking about, if I'm Naomi, what are 5 organizations in the South Bronx that would be interested in this story, that I would like to work for eventually, and then what I would do is I would offer them the article. I would write the article for the organization. So I would say, Stephanie, hey, I know you work for Bronx Environmentalists Group. I have a really interesting story that I want to do. I would like to give it to you for free. I'm going to write it, I'm going to give it to you for free, and if you like it, maybe let's talk about an internship. So that you go and you write it, you give it to her. She's like, I love it. It's going into the website. Now all of a sudden on your LinkedIn, you could put that same article and say, I published this piece for Bronx environmentalists. See how it builds on each other? We're gonna do a lot more of that next week, because there's lots of opportunity there for you guys. Lots. All right? So, let's do a couple of final thoughts, and then I know you like to speak at the end and say stuff, but let's do a couple of final thoughts, because it's a good place to stop for the day. The next section is going to take a little 10 minutes, so it's a good place to stop. A couple of final thoughts I want to share with you. Number one, there was a good question as we were kind of breaking and walking, I was walking through. This is just the documentation of a process, right? This is not like, and the answer is yes, and that is the right way to think about it. Guys, no one's saying, you can write 100 articles. You can do 100 videos. So you don't need to put pressure on yourself that this article or this video that I'm doing right now is the only one I'm going to do. And by the way, the length of these articles or these videos can vary. It can be 300 words. You can write it in 2 paragraphs. Or it can be 3,000. Maybe it's a 10-page story. I don't know. But you can figure that out. That's number one. So think of it more like this is almost like a documentation of my process and not one thing that I'm going to do today. And then that's got to be the only thing I talk about. That's number one. Number two, a really interesting conversation here about what if not a lot of people see my stuff, right? This is the number one biggest reason that so many of you will quit once you start. Here's what you'll do. You'll get the courage up to build a story. You'll write a story, you'll write an article, you'll do a video, you'll put it up. You'll get 2 views. And you stop. Because you're like, what's the point? And I was sharing with Sandra, right? I was sharing with Sandra. You know, my content is hopeful. I like to put up hopeful content. And I have received comments from people that I, in some cases I've known for a while, in some cases I've never ever met in my life, that they said, hey, I watched your video, I was about to commit suicide, and the video gave me hope. And now I'm back in a good place. I don't even know what video they're talking about. And that's the point. Guys, you just, one person, if you influence them, it's worth it. It's one view away from getting a great job, one view away from making somebody think about something differently, one view away from, maybe people don't know about this, this thing you saw in the South Bronx. Maybe they don't know that, maybe it's leading to cancer, maybe they don't know. Maybe they didn't know that when you're 55 or 60 or however old you are, you can go back to school and start a new career. Like, we are assuming, for your story about like helping orphan children, we are assuming that people are way ahead of the place that they actually are. People, you would be surprised how much help people need. We make assumptions about people that we think we know what they need, that we think we know where they are in their life, and we don't. And the last thing, this is like you totally brought me here. I beg you, with my entire heart, I beg you to please stop beating yourselves up about every little fucking thing. Please. She had an experience today where she forgot something that she needed to do and she started going hard. I'm a bad person, I'm a bad mom, I'm a bad this. I'm like, guys, we're allowed to make mistakes. Like, you're allowed to make a mistake. You're allowed to make a bunch of mistakes. Let me tell you something about the outside world right now. Everybody's trying to judge everybody about everything. And the only way that you guys can do what I'm telling you is truly a magical thing, is if you very, very, very quickly get into your own head and love yourself so much, like almost an uncomfortable amount of self-love you have to give yourself. Because everybody's going to hate on you. You only got 2 views on your video. You don't even speak English. Your English is, you don't even say the right word. You got 3 views and no one's reading your articles. Why do you think you can talk about this? Why are you, you want to talk about leadership, but you forgot this? Oh, everybody's going to say these things to you.
Yeah.
You need to literally get into your own head, and I mean like hardcore, of all, like, I deal with thousands of people here that come up to me and say, like, I want to do this, but I'm scared because I'm scared of what other people can say about me.
Scared of failure?
I'm scared of failure, but who gets to decide what failure is?
Us.
No.
And that's it. That's the answer. And nobody else.
It's a one.
Nobody else. You want to be the President of the United States? People are going to be like, ha, you're right. And maybe you become the President, or maybe you don't become the President. But the idea that you love yourself enough to give yourself that chance, for me, bro, you're already a success. Like, you're already the President.
Because you already had that drive.
Because you're already doing it for you. Because you decided, I'm worth it. Do you know what I mean? I'm worth it. And listen, things are going to come up during the time. You're going to forget to do things that you were supposed to do. Guess what? That's okay. And let that be the thing that you talk about tomorrow. Like, I literally love every single one of you so much, and at the same time, I don't care at all what you think about me. At this exact same time. And I'm always going to choose, because I know myself, and this is a really great group, as always. Like, you guys are good people. Every single one of them. The only reason you're upset right now is because you're a phenomenal person. I'd actually be worried about you if you weren't upset. Do you know what I mean? Give yourselves breaks. You're going to put stuff out, it's not going to be perfect. People are going to hate on you. People are going to love you. Give yourself a break. Over and over. Now, don't be a bad person. Don't like punch her in the face and say, oh, sorry, I'm giving myself a break. But if you're doing things with the right intentions, which I can guarantee you all are, I can tell, then like the rest of it, it's, like that's it. Like get it, go here. Okay? Next week, we're going to pick up here. I hope you all come back. Will you guys come back next week?
Yes.
This is a great group. I really want to keep building. Before we break, I know Jason wants to say something to you, and I got to run out of here like at 5:30. Sorry, but I got to run out of here in like 5 minutes. The last thing I'll say to you is this: since you're not going to be here next week, right? You are, or you're not? Okay, so I got to give you love for your group. So this guy right here, Jason, is one of the people that I respect more than anyone in the world. The reason that I always try to come back as often as I can is for 2 things. Number one, like what happened today always happens, and I just adore this group of students. Like I think that you guys are the next. I think together we're the future. Like, that's all there is to it, right? Together we're the future. And I love the fact that everybody's from different places and has different thoughts, and like that's the world that I want to create, and I work really hard to create every day. Second reason I come back is because I think that, I get a lot of requests to be a mentor, and I think it's really hard to be a good mentor. I think it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of patience, and more than anything, it takes a lot of context. Like, the reason that I have a hard time being a mentor to people in a one-on-one setting is because the amount of time and energy that has to go into fully understanding who you are so I can properly guide you is a lot. It's a lot. And otherwise, I'm always worried that I'm going to tell you something that I don't really know your situation. You're a perfect example. My initial instinct with you today when you said anything about law school was like, why would you let a professor talk to you about law school? When you told me in the room, I'm like, you should definitely go to law school. But that requires some back and forth. The thing that you have with Jason is someone who is 1,000% committed to your success. And guys, this is a real gift to have. To have an in-person mentor that's whole entire existence on this planet, aside from the amazing dads and husband he is to serve you guys. I suggest with all my heart that you use that, because I've seen for 5, 6, 7, however many years now, I don't even know how many years it's been, I've just seen him continuously make magic happen with you guys in ways that blow my mind. And so I just wanted to publicly thank you guys and thank Jason for allowing me to share this space.
I'll just take 2 minutes real quick. I just gotta like to close these things out. The first thing is what Brian was talking about just at the end there. A lot of people come into here Leadership Academy and they're not necessarily sure what leadership is, and people have different opinions about what it is. But leadership actually is exactly what Brian was talking about at the end there. It's about understanding yourself and understanding the values that you have and the experience that you gain from going through life and the power that you have to give back. So the simple act of volunteering, the simple act of taking action on behalf of somebody else, the simple act of being a great mom or a great brother or a great sister or whatever it is, great dad, all of that is leadership and it's valuable and it's one of the most valuable assets that you have. And the fact that you put yourselves into the position to learn and develop those skills makes you more valuable to the society at large. As we grow and we look at those things using social media and we see all the people who are posting their boats and their watches and their pictures of themselves, we realize how lacking all of those people are in some of the skills that you guys are inherently blessed with or are growing and developing and honing by doing the things that you're doing here. So value yourselves as leaders for that. Because whether it's in the medical field, media, engineering, the sciences, mathematics, fashion, whatever, business, anything, we need great leaders because people suck out there being leaders. They do. The second thing I want to say is, how many of you have LinkedIn pages?
How many of you guys have this professional photo as your
Yeah, so those of you that don't have LinkedIn pages, you need to do that. Brian was talking about that. It's one of the most valuable tools that you have in your professional life. It will get you jobs, it will get you recommendations. I write recommendations on LinkedIn all the time for members who graduated from here, and they get jobs right away just from one recommendation on LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn, make one, get it started, and start to use it to connect. It's not Facebook, it's not Instagram. It is a tool for your professional lives and for careers that you don't even know that you want yet, that you can get into. And the final thing I'll say is, I have a great amount of respect for what Brian does. I get to trace him across the globe through social media and see all the wonderful things that he does. You get a brief amount of time with each of the presenters that you're going to get throughout the course of the semester. Take advantage of it. You can ask Stefan. When he was struggling through some stuff, I said, why don't you reach out to Brian and see what he can do for you. Everybody who comes through this little area is a tangential mentor. Somebody who you can touch base with, connect with, stay in contact with, ask for advice from. So here's a person who's executing his goals, his life dream, and he had to change his path. We're talking about being a football player. He has a great story about that. But he's choosing the things that he does and learning every single day about each choice that he makes and what he likes to do, what he wants to do, and what he needs to do. And if you look at his podcast, if you look at any of the things that he's posted, you will see that growth within him. And that is the benefit that you can get from being part of this workshop, by being back next week, and by staying connected to him when he's gone. Because this is an opportunity to be able to go on that journey yourself. Because you will have to. We all do. We can't stay stagnant for our entire lives. We have to move. And we have to judge ourselves based on where we are in the world at a particular moment, at a particular time, and say, this isn't really what I want to be doing with all of this. These aren't really the words that I want to be saying. This is not really the community that I want to be affecting. I need to reach out to another community. And all of those things are reflected in the work that Brian does. So take advantage of that opportunity, and let's give him a nice round of applause.
I know we're gonna see each other next week, but my social media is Brian Rashid Global. I'm on every platform. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, podcast, everything. And then the last thing I want to say is this. You guys had phenomenal ideas today. Really. And I'm not just saying that. I don't ever say anything I don't mean. You have phenomenal ideas today. And I'm very excited about the leadership in this room. And I think that the other thing that Jason is alluding to that I think is important is, get to know each other as well. Like, you could be the next CEO of the most innovative company in the world, and you could want to work there, and all of a sudden you guys met when you were back in 2020 Leadership Academy, and you reach out in 7 years and say like, hey, remember me, we did the leadership. It's all people, guys. It really is all people. And so, like-minded people, like Jason's saying, people that want to do better, that want to be intentional. So make those connections. Say hi to people you don't know. Ask them if they want to go have a coffee, if they want to take a walk, if they want to, get to know people, because that really is the game. So next week we're going to pick up where we left off. So I would ask you that next week you bring these papers or your phones or whatever, so we can continue to build on this. All right? I got to run out, guys, but thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
And if you haven't registered for the conference on the 28th, the deadline is Sunday, so if you want to go, you got to register by Sunday. I sent the email today.
So then I have there was a girl in my class, right? She was like an assistant to my professor. Should I endorse her?
Okay.
She wanted to ask. Because she did a good job as the assistant to a professor.